What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quarter. I'm going to start today with a little Schadenfreude, a little laugh. The Star Wars universe is getting about as played out as the Marvel one, maybe worse, to be honest with you. But we've got more video game news later today as well. But I wanted to start with a bit of Disney news. And here we have what would appear to be signs that the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is already a flop. Now, there's been a lot of data collected and a lot of articles already written about how there are literally no lines or very few lines. 30-minute wait in Disneyland is all relatively, about zero. And how shops are standing empty. Early takes are that the $200 non-refundable lightsabers are low quality, all sorts of stuff. You can see Star Wars Galaxy's Edge visitors need to meet the land's main character, V. Moradi. Literally who? Why are Star Wars Land crowds so low? Big surprise at Disneyland. Star Wars Land, not so long waits. We can look at some basic feedback compiled by Data Racer 117, which you should give a follow to. It must be something, the lighting, or they give you a defective blade, but it would legit stink a lot. Dalian, if they did this for the price of $200 and non-refundable, Disney Parks, who could help me fix my lightsaber? I've got a Savis workshop. It's defective and did not make it out of the park. Something must be wrong with my lightsaber. The colors appear more red and tube flickers regularly when lit. These are $200, by the way. Mine already stopped working. The motion impact sounds as did my brother's. No dueling either. They definitely seem to have some issues. For $200, you'd expect some good quality control. But no! Pay piggies. Wee, Star Wars, give me your money. We don't care about quality. What happens when your Galaxy's Edge workshop lightsaber starts having problems? I don't know. If it's just finicky, it worries me. It seems to be hit or miss. So we see lots of bad PR in terms of the quality of product. One of the biggest draws would be the build your own lightsaber experience. While some people talked about, it was a cool experience. The whole building process was 10 to 15 minutes. The presentation was cool. They gave me the wrong set to begin with, and when I told the gatherer, he let out a sigh and was visibly upset. He stood there and told me from which row to choose my pieces, and he assembled them himself. None of the designs or pieces lined up once put together, and my lightsaber didn't turn on. Pretty disappointed overall, as I spent $215 on this. By the way, you got to pay to get in the park, too. The experience was advertising as something, quote, spiritual or something along those lines. Felt rushed, like I was annoying the dude helping me. Overall, I'd still recommend doing it. But come on, fandom. Have some spine. You got a horrible experience, a low-quality product that you paid an exorbitant amount of money, and you're still defending the franchise. Stop giving them your money. Now, there's a lot of elements to this. The get woke, go broke, of course, I think is actually a smaller part of it all, as funny as it is. There's a legitimate amount of franchise fatigue, but I think franchise fatigue can be overcome by actually good films and not having most of your actors and actresses come after the fandom and not have your media outlets constantly blaming the fans when you put out a bad film and they critique it. Is Star Wars Galaxy Edge already a flop? Why would this be? Let's take a look at some reasons why Star Wars Galaxy's Edge might be floundering in its early days. By the way, this is a website dedicated to theme parks, but we'll also look at some fun spin. By the way, I hope you're having a good day. I've got 3 videos planned for you as well. Lots and lots to talk about. I hope that if you are enjoying the videos that you remember to drop a like on it and, of course, drop a comment in the comment section down below. I always read them. Okay, Star Wars Galaxy Edge isn't technically finished. Obviously, that's a big deal, but you would expect... I'm going to kind of debunk some of these reasons, all right? Yes, this is correct. It isn't technically finished. There's a lot of unfinished stuff. However, this type of thing, as we just read, a fan who was clearly disappointed with their lightsaber experience and the Disney experience still came and still told other people to come. What does that mean? Well, it means the whales, not the blue-haired ones, but just the whales customer-wise, they don't care. They bought their tickets months ago, right? I have a Star Wars friend, a friend who's like a super fan who loves all the films. He already went. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this holds that much water. Could franchise fatigue be playing a factor? I believe, okay, sure, there's some amount of this, right? To a casual fan, that's probably a reasonable thing to say, but not to the diehards that would have been there when the gates opened. So I still think that franchise fatigue really isn't the reason why. I think what happened is the strongest Star Wars fans, the ones that are in their 30s and 40s and 50s now, who can afford to go to Disneyland, a large chunk of them feel alienated, not necessarily by poor films, in my opinion, recently coming out. There is definitely something to like about all of them. But by all the media surrounding it and all the actors and actresses not respecting the franchise and wishy-washy takes from guys like Mark Hamill, who's happy to cash the check. Sorry, Mark Hamill fans. He's happy to cash a Star Wars check and then publicly bash the film outside of it. Look, you've got to pick a side, man. If you really didn't want to be a part of it, I think you should have stood by the sidelines and forget it. You're not going to use me to milk the fandom. Disneyland annual pass holders are largely blacked out for the summer. Now, that is probably a reasonable thing. Again, it doesn't dismiss the super fans who are just going to get in anyway, but it is a relatively reasonable point. And what do they mean about the blackout dates? Well, if we look at some of the reasons here, as quoted by slashfilm.com, this brings up a very interesting question. Why is Galaxy's Edge not busy? Disney was fearing the worst when it came to crowd expectations for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. There were rumors of internal projections that saw the park reaching capacity for the first couple of months. Naturally, this had fans wondering how Disney Park Logistics would handle the opening of the company's first Star Wars land. As you may know, they handled with a 5-prong approach. Now, extensive blackout dates for cast members and annual pass holders, creating new and limited time attractions in Disney California Adventures to lure crowds away. These include bringing back Soarin' Over California and adding Mickey's PhilharMagic to the Hollywoodland, a 3-week preview period, which required reservations to enter the land for 4-hour timed periods. Now, again, to me, I'm not giving Disney $500 to go absorb the new woke Star Wars junk. But the fact of the matter is there are still and should be thousands of super fans with the cash willing to go in the door. One wonders why they're not. Now, you had a boarding pass process which would disallow Disneyland guests to enter a virtual queue via Disneyland app to enter the crowd and a new huge parking garage. Okay. Now, some of the data I've heard also on top of this is that the drinks are absurdly expensive. Some of the mixed drinks getting close to $50. I don't know if that's substantiated or not. And then they have flights of beer that are more than $100. I mean, this is just a flat out cash grab. On the day the land opened reservations, it hit capacity and the boarding process went as promoted. But then something strange happened. Star Wars Galaxy Edge has not required boarding groups since the launch day, and Disneyland has been strangely empty. We traveled to the park earlier this week, and not only was Disneyland empty, but Galaxy's Edge was the most uncrowded I've seen it yet. Now, this could be a part of kind of people rejecting Hollywood. It's just a theory. And of course, my theories are only going to be, a small portion of probably what the reality is. I get that. And that's why the comment section is important, because I am curious. If you live in California, is there something going on that I don't know about? But if Star Wars really was the franchise it was before Disney took over, I don't care what anyone says, the lines would be out the door and they would be at maximum capacity. Also, the talks about Disney with their blackout dates and all this sort of thing, I think that doesn't really hold a lot of water either, because if they were low attendance, they would just open the floodgates. Why would you stick to it? If you've got capacity and you've got demand, you would just open the capacity and make money. Any idiot knows this. It's like having a lemonade stand and then being like, well, I've got 20 customers, I've got plenty of lemonade, but I'm only going to serve 3 of them. I had planned on more, but you know what? I'm going to stick to the plan. Of course, Disney didn't do this. Did Disney scare potential tourists away from visiting this park with all the precautionary logistical measures? This could be a real possibility. I don't believe it is. I believe when you're talking about the super fandom, a lot of this you could maybe attribute to something like a year down the road, but Star Wars mega fans, the fans that stood in line for 48 hours before before films came out, lined up around the block in full costume, these people don't care. They would have been there online to make the reservations. Or it could be that almost all the annual passes are currently blocked out. Again, I don't believe this to be something reasonable, because while I will say my friend Charlie, who's a huge fan of Star Wars, is an annual pass holder, I believe. He goes to Disney every year. If you wanted to go, you would just buy a ticket. I mean, how many Disney people are only annual pass? I suppose in California proper, you probably have a lot of them. That could be part of it. These are all probably relatively small things. Now, Corby, aside from the Signature and Signature Plus and the top two of the line passes, it's worth noting that Disney has since changed their course and told cast members they are no longer black. Oh, okay. See, exactly. Right. Aside from July 4th, in addition to that, Disneyland sent an email to annual pass holders announcing a new summertime deal that would allow them. Okay, exactly what I said they would do. They did it. So, but the real question is, why are people staying away? Disneyland is notoriously more of a local park. Unlike Walt Disney World in Florida, that's probably fair. Anaheim is filled with local annual pass holders, so maybe blocking all the lower and mid-tier passes along cast member access is to blame. It seems very likely to me this is the best answer, as rides from Disneyland as Disney California Adventure have had the shortest standby lines I've ever seen. For example, that the massively popular Radiator Springs Racers had a 10 to 15 minute wait the other day. So in general, I think you have not enough reason for super fans to go attend it, but also the park itself, it just isn't that busy, which is an interesting thing. We talk about the money. The other interesting aspect is that it's clear Disneyland underestimated fan demand of exclusive products being offered in Batuu. When I visited Wednesday, a lot of stuff was sold out. The list includes half of the Legacy lightsabers, all of the Kyber crystals. At Droid Depot, you can build your own droid. They are completely sold out. At Orga's Cantina, the $75 beer flight collectible with 4 Rancor tooth glasses is sold out. This is brutal. I don't think you would know this going in, though. If you were planning to go to Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, you probably wouldn't know that, oh, it's sold out. And you probably wouldn't say, oh, well, it's sold out, I'm not going. If you made plans to go, you made plans to go. The fact that there's a $75 beer flight is absurd. To make up for that, Disney's begun selling extra lightsaber pieces from Savi's for $20, something that wasn't offered until this week. Also, the Droid Depot is now selling extra droid pieces for the same price. I guess if they have stock of something in the back room, why not sell it? During the reservation period, Orga's Cantina and Savi's Workshop, Build Your Own Lightsaber Experience, would both hit capacity within minutes of reservation period opening. There were a lot of complaints from fans who weren't able to do either of the premium experiences. Those who got into the cantina were often found complaining about the long lines in the sun, the unfriendly cast members serving the drinks, and packed with uncomfortable quarters. Now you can easily get a reservation for the cantina, and the app and the bar seems a lot less full. That might be bad for Disney, but it's a more comfortable user experience. Well, I am a firm believer that if they're going to deliver subpar quality, which is what we see they've done, at least with the lightsabers, poor planning in terms of running out of all the coolest stuff, and you have cast members and the media constantly making it about the fandom and not the product that Disney's delivering, I'm not surprised we may be on the verge of another get woke, go broke scenario. I do hope you enjoyed this video, though. We'll talk to you again real soon.